Well, the thing is that we got all of our bullshit out of the way, and what am I supposed to put, like, before the episode?
I mean, I don't know. We can continue to bullshit.
Okay. How was your day?
It was a day. Like, I didn't really do a whole lot today. Today, I this is like one of the few weekends I've been home. So I did a fuck ton of laundry. Mm-hmm. I slept until like 11 every day.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, that's just what I'll do if left to my own devices. It's just when my body wants to wake up. Like, everybody judges me like I'm still some teenager, but I'm like, no, it's just the schedule I'm on.
I hate that. I used to catch shit when I was younger for sleeping too much, and I hated it. Like, if I gotta sleep, I gotta sleep. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Now with my own teenagers, I'm like, listen, buddy, you sleep as long as you fucking want. I'm never gonna be like, ew, you woke up at noon. Ew. I'll high-five you on the way down the stairs, like, all right.
You sleep good?
Kicking that sleep's ass.
And also, like, honestly, I think my sleep schedule, if I could let it set to where it wants to be, I would probably be up until 1 a.m. and wake up at 10, like, every day.
Yeah, I have a weird, like, I've now trained myself where, because I gotta wake up early, and I just naturally want to sleep for at least 9 hours. I end up going to bed kind of early, so I've kind of trained myself to, like, okay, we're going to bed at, like, 9, like old people. But if I were left to my own devices, if I didn't have to worry about, like, oh, I gotta wake up at 6:30 and then get the boys to school, I would probably stay up until, like, midnight or 1 every day. Like, it's just kind of how my brain works.
Yeah, mine too.
Brains are weird.
They are weird. Yeah, I'm not on, like, I wish I could be on a schedule more suited to my sleep cycles. But that often means working a second shift job, and that is just the fucking worst. Mm-hmm. So I just live with a schedule that doesn't make my body happy.
Hey, at least we're not working retail.
Yep, God bless.
Shout out to all my homies working retail. Fucking holiday season, that sucks.
Give him that Hunger Games salute.
We're with you in spirit.
Yep. I mean, I did my time.
I think we all did our time. I still have the Target nightmare where they call me and they're like, oh, you've got one more shift. I haven't worked at Target in like 8 years.
I remember when you worked at Target.
Yeah. It's been a long time. And I'll still occasionally have the Target dream.
So at the time you were working at Target, the place where I live was still pretty kind of backwater. It's stopped being so in the last couple of years. And, like, there was not a Target. So I kind of associate Targets with you.
That's weird. I don't like it.
Really?
Let's work on that.
Well, not with how much you hated working there. That has nothing to do with it. It's just sort of like, oh, I know a person who worked here before it was a thing I was familiar with. It's kind of nice.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's nice for me.
I'm glad it makes you happy.
Sorry? Question mark.
No, I wasn't being sarcastic. It's like, I personally don't like it. But there's nothing I can do about it, and if it makes you happy, I'm not gonna make you change. Okay, thanks. There we go. Is that enough? Is that enough stuff for our opening riff? Oh, probably, yeah. Who are we? Oh, hey. We're bonus experience. My memories are failing. Who am I? Who are you? Yeah, I think you're Ray. I'm Ray. Yeah. Who are you? Who are you? Who am I? I mean, I think I'm Monica, resident industry professional. Probably the weirdest and least helpful introduction we've done so far. I mean, we did it out of order, too. No, we didn't. What is the show about? We're a podcast with a deeper look at the play experience and the finer details of running and writing games. We are also queer women speaking with authority about games. Mm-hmm, yeah, we swear. Die mad about it. You should die mad about it. I did that without looking. I finally got this down.
Way to fucking go.
Now back on the Target creep. I can still do the closing announcements for Target. It's been like forever, but I used to be like the get on the over like attention Target guests. Like that was me. And I can still fucking do that. It's never gonna leave.
Well, don't leave me hanging.
Oh shit. Attention Target guests, the time is now 8:45 and our store will be closing in 15 minutes. At this time, please make your final selections and bring them to the front where our cashiers will be happy to assist you. For your shopping convenience, we will be open tomorrow at 8 a.m. As always, thank you for shopping at Target and have a nice evening.
It's funny because it like actually is basically 8:45 p.m. right now.
Yeah. That was only on Sundays. On Sundays, we would close early because we were attached to a mall. No. All right. So.
That was very good. That was very good.
Thank you. We're Bonus Experience, and today we're going to talk about
stealing like a game designer.
Is it theft? Is it inspiration? Is it Maybelline?
Can you believe it's not butter?
I lost the thread.
I'm sorry. I riffed too hard. All right. Remember that your fidget cube causes echoes.
Oh, I know. I'm trying to be very careful with the little clicky lever.
Just mute your mic if you wanna click. Just, god damn it.
So, Monica.
Yeah.
When is it actually theft and something that you shouldn't do?
Okay. Well, I think the first step you have to do is ask yourself if it feels like a blatant ripoff, which is sort of a loaded question because sometimes when you're working with something that you're inspired by, you constantly feel like it is a blatant ripoff.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe you should ask yourself, would it feel out of place in an asylum film? With a capital A. They're the people who do things like Atlantic Rim.
Oh, God!
Yes.
Fun fact, we went to watch the Mystery Science Theater episode where they're riffing on Atlantic Rim, and we could not make it through it. It made us so sad. We could not finish Atlantic Rim.
Asylum makes those intentional knockoff films.
The mockbusters.
Yes.
The
mockbusters.
Mockbusters.
Yes. As I love that term.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yes, if it feels like it might be becoming a mockbuster, maybe you're ripping things off. Also, how much does it feel like you just took Dungeons and Dragons or Vampire the Masquerade and filed them serial numbers right off? If the idea is almost exactly the same, it's probably theft. And let's be real, people know when they're stealing.
But then when it comes to, like, really specific... we'll get into this. Like, Dungeons and Dragons is such iffy territory because Dungeons and Dragons itself is borrowing from, like, a bunch of different, like, canonical fantasy works, and it gets touchy. Anyway.
Right. I mean more like, okay, so I'm writing my game. My totally original game, Do Not Steal, is... you have core classes, and they are guy that fights, guy that stabs and steals, person who casts spells, the healer, and nature friend.
See,
and
even that is like Dungeon World has that. Like Pathfinder has that. So I think if you were ripping off Dungeons and Dragons, it would be down to like you get proficiency bonuses and you have spell slots and
but also point out that Pathfinder and Dungeon World have those things too.
Yeah. Okay, well.
I'm saying that, like, there is a point at which, like, okay, so Pathfinder was actually created with the D20 OGL, which means they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
And Dungeon World is using a different system specifically to emulate D&D, so it's not a rip-off because you can't copyright a lot of those things. Okay, copying D&D is particularly hard. Let's talk about Vampire the Masquerade instead.
Okay, let's go to something really specific with a really defined IP. Vampire the Masquerade.
Yes. So, like, if you are like, this is my totally original game about feuding political vampire clans that use discrete powers fueled by blood that we're calling schmussaplins.
And everyone's worried about the time of watery blood.
Yeah.
And we're calling it...
And they're all descendants of Cain. Maybe you're... And the vampires are based on how, like, old and powerful they are, and it's called their generation or whatever. Then maybe you're
Vampire the Costume Party.
Yeah, Vampire the Costume Party.
You have to respect the costume party. You have to uphold the costume party.
And these vampires call themselves like the family. Maybe you're Maybe you're ripping things off.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. D&D is too generally challenging. So Vampire the Masquerade, a much easier example.
Vampire the Masquerade. Go.
Yeah, if the thing you were doing and calling your original idea is really kind of just the same thing, but you changed like a word or two, it's probably stealing.
This is such a weird this is a weird episode for me because I keep thinking about like we're joking about this and I have such a hard time imagining someone doing this. It's like, that's dumb. Don't do that. Like, why would you? Like, I am pretty certain that the vast majority of people listening to this, probably all of them, would never consider just outright stealing something.
Right, and that's why I said when someone is straight up stealing, they know they're stealing.
They know they're stealing, yeah. And there's a call-out post coming for them, and they already have their backup plan ready.
Right, but continuing this topic, don't copy anything directly if you're... This is really more important if you're, like, publishing something. And so when I say don't copy anything directly, I mean story or lore-wise. So if the adventure you're writing is literally a Doctor Who episode with the serial numbers filed off, then you're stealing. Mechanics, however, are different. You can't copyright math, and nobody is going to take you to court for choosing to have a system that rolls 2d6. However, if you name your game Apocalypse Planet, and you claim you invented the 7 to 9 mechanic, that's when we have a problem. Math can't be copyrighted, but its expression can.
So, going back to the Vampire the Masquerade idea, could I have a system that uses pools of d10s, and that would be okay?
Yeah, of course.
But as long as I wasn't using, like, every single old school White Wolf mechanic wrapped into that, it would probably be okay.
I mean, you can copy the whole bad old World of Darkness mechanic dice pool if you want to.
Yeah. Right down to, target numbers and botches?
Yeah, sure. Like, something like target number or difficulty are just words. They don't have an IP. It's when you get to things like vitae and blood points and disciplines and obfuscate and that shit, that's IP.
So if I took the entire point buy system and everything that goes with it from the old World of Darkness and just changed all the names, that would technically be kosher.
I mean, you can totally create a core system that works almost exactly the same as old World of Darkness mathematically.
But I can't call it essence points. I can't call it willpower points.
You probably could get away with willpower.
This is when we should have Vance on, because isn't he like a fucking lawyer? Like, he could actually be like, okay, well,
but
no.
I don't think he's an intellectual property lawyer.
Damn.
Like, okay, so you can't just reproduce Vampire the Masquerade with the serial numbers filed off, in which, like, it is specifically a game about playing vampires in this particular political setting, in this particular modern world, or the Dark Ages, because Dark Ages vampires fucking awesome. Hey, it's another book I worked on. And then call it your own game.
Right.
We'll get to working under open license. Like, we could do that right now.
Let's just do that right now. Why don't you talk about open license stuff, since this is where I start getting like, man, I don't know.
Okay, so like, Storyteller Vault is basically the open license for White Wolf Onyx Path products. Like, I brought up Pathfinder being made under the D20 OGL, which was a really big sea change in design and, like, totally flooded the market with a lot of crap in the early 2000s. Mm-hmm. And all open licenses, more or less, literally have rules about how you can use them. So if you want to... Now, again, this is if you want to produce something that is commercially available for sale. If you are just building something at home, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Because a lot of these have, like, it's just kind of assumed that non-commercial is involved in there. Like, we're not gonna... If you're not selling it for money, then you're not taking sales away from them, so they don't give a fuck.
They do not give a fuck, no. So open licenses have rules how to use them. So if you want to produce something under an open license, you need to read those rules and then follow them. It is literally that simple. Sometimes in an open license, there will be material that you're not allowed to reference or print. Did you know that you can't ever use the word beholder if you are not Wizards of the Coast? That's not a joke. That's fucking serious.
Right.
You can't. I don't think you can use Githyanki or Illithid either. There's like a list of forbidden words that you are not allowed to use as a third party. That is, those are their words. You're not allowed to use them. That's part of the open license.
I'm going to have to take a look at those words, because this is... Like, I would never want to use the word beholder or illithid. I'm not into that shit.
Let's say you're producing a third party adventure for D&D 5th edition.
Okay.
And you want to have a beholder as the boss.
I can't.
You cannot call it a beholder.
I have to call it something else.
Yes.
A one-eyed, one-horn, flying purple
adventurer eater.
Adventurer eater.
Other
terrible.
open licenses might be totally open-ended. I know the Storyteller Vault rules forbid you from producing something that would directly compete with another product.
Mm-hmm.
So like you can totally produce another set of Solar Charms.
Okay.
But you cannot reproduce the Exalted 3rd Edition core book.
Right.
As much as you'd like to.
That's piracy. That's a completely different thing.
Right. Despite that, the Storyteller's Vault totally lets you create a fan supplement of additional charms if you wanted to. But because that's like additional content, it doesn't compete with the core book.
Okay.
But you cannot basically rewrite Exalted under the Storyteller Vault and produce it as much as you'd like to. Also, someone cannot right now go, I'm going to write an Exigence book because the 3rd edition Exigence book, which has been approved, I can tell you that, doesn't exist yet.
Oh.
I know Evil Hat has a license for Fate, and I'm pretty sure it's pretty permissive. I don't know the specifics. I've never looked into it. I also know that I think if you want to publish something official under PBTA, I think that is ask. Like,
yeah, I was actually on their site earlier looking at, like, they have a website completely devoted to, various Powered by the Apocalypse settings, and they're like, yeah, just let us know, and we'll even link to it. Like,
yeah, I'm pretty sure
cool.
that agreement is literally just ask us.
Yeah.
So that's a case by case basis. Also, I don't know if Evil Hat does it, but either of those might, like, if the thing that you're making might be objectionable, companies might actually deny you the right to use their core system.
Oh, cool.
I don't know that I've ever heard it happening, but I'm sure it could happen. Case by case basis. Now, as I said before, this literally applies only if you want to publish materials and make money.
Right. Okay.
Off of them. If you're a home brewer, like, if this is literally something you're just making up and the only people who are ever going to see this are you and the 5 people you play with on Tuesdays, do whatever you want. Rip off anything. Who cares? Who gives a flying fuck? This is your pretendy fun time.
Yeah. You do what you want with it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't take this advice as, like, you can never copy something on your own time, because you can.
And there's whole wikis full of, D&D homebrew crap that are like, I've altered it to make it Legend of Zelda instead of... perfect example, I haven't taken a look at it yet, but there's this really awesome, like, fan project where people took the game Destiny and actually, like, skinned it over D&D, and they even came up with, like, a bestiary and stuff, and I love the game Destiny, and I also love D&D, and I plan on taking a look at it later. They're not selling it, it's just available to have, because, people like people, and they make things that they like for each other.
Yeah, fan-made stuff is pretty fair game.
Yeah. Who gives a flying fuck?
Yeah, it's really only
change
a big
it if you
deal
want to.
Yeah, change it if you want to. That's what you're here for,
just
right?
On a scale. Change it if you want to.
So, with that in mind,
I need a break.
Yeah, I think we should have a mid-episode break.
I need some coffee or something. I'm dragging.
All right.
Hey, hi.
Hey, hi.
Is it okay if I put my feet up on the table?
Yeah, you can put your feet up on the table.
Stretch it out real quick.
Cool.
Let me just enjoy this ice cold LaCroix.
I put liquor in my sparkling water.
What's happening over there?
What?
there's a whole cacophony of delights over there.
Yeah, I hit the microphone with my glass. Hey, so we want to open this mid-episode break by saying that, like, a lot of men have been reaching out to us to get interviewed on the show. And we don't have a problem with that at all.
We promise.
We promise. But we really wanted to make it clear that this is an open invitation for women and non-binary folks to hit us up.
I mean, it says right in our description that we're like queer women speaking with authority. And while we've had some awesome interviews with male creators, we really are very interested in hearing, from female and NB creators, especially because we want to look at this through the lens of diversity.
Yeah, we put that in our official description.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really did. So also, if you're a man listening, we'd really love it if you would share this invitation with your lady and NB friends who do the game thing and encourage them to reach out to us just like you did. Or reach out to them on their behalf with their permission, of course, if they're too anxious to talk to us directly. I get that. I get scared to ask people for stuff too. We also want to point out that if you want to talk to us, promoting a Kickstarter is not required.
Yeah, this is kind of like a bonus. Like, if you have a Kickstarter, it's like, great, yeah, we'll talk about that. But it's not like we're only interviewing Kickstarter people.
No. If you are not kickstarting something, or if you're not actively doing something, just hit us up with a topic you want to discuss with us. Just remember that we are a running, writing, designing show, so while we would love to shoot the shit with you, and we would, truly.
Yeah, we'll probably end up doing that anyway.
Yeah. We absolutely will just end up shooting the shit with you. That's going to happen. But having a topic helps us keep our ADHD asses on task.
Yeah. So the mid-episode break room and bonus experience are both productions of the Misdirected Mark Network. If you like bonus experience, you should check out the other Misdirected Mark shows, like She's a Super Geek.
Yay! She's a Super Geek is an actual play RPG podcast highlighting women as GMs. Join them every other Tuesday for lots of different RPGs and guests.
Also, you can look forward to us, our shining personalities, guest starring as players in a future episode of She's a Super Geek.
Yep, we're working on that scheduling right now.
Yeah, it's hard. It never gets any easier scheduling adults to all get together in the same point, the same point in time and space to roll some dice and pretend to be elves.
I very rarely pretend to be an elf unless I have no other choice.
I haven't really been an elf in a while, now that I think about it.
I haven't been an elf ever.
Ever?
Maybe not ever. I mean, I played a drow. Does that count?
You drow?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. I have to say that does. That's like, that's on the elf spectrum from preppy all the way to goth.
Okay. I accept goth elves.
No, you're more of a tiefling man yourself.
I am many tiefs.
I'm starting to get into dwarves. I never thought I would be into dwarves because they're just short and hairy. What's the big deal? But now I'm like, guess what? I'm short and hairy. So dwarf time.
Elves and dwarves are too vanilla for me.
Too vanilla. Oh, yeah. I roll from Volos now. I'm usually a goblin or a kobold or something.
You're my favorite goblin.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's get back to this.
Okay.
I'm gonna take another sip.
All right, me too.
Mm-hmm. You made that sip sound like a bite. Let me just take a bite of this drink.
Delicious. Ow. Ow.
All right, so we've talked about how not to steal stuff. So let's talk about how to be properly inspired.
The inspiration. This is way more my speed. We talk about stealing stuff, and I'm like, I don't know, man. But you get inspired by something. It's like, yeah, okay, I'll tell you all about it. So there's this thought experiment called the Ship of Theseus, right? So
I'm actually totally unfamiliar with this.
So I'll share this with you because I love anytime someone talks about where do you get your ideas, I'll just be like, I don't know, Ship of Theseus. So Theseus, right? This Greek hero, he had a ship, he sailed in some historic battle, and now it's on display as a historical artifact. So as the years go on, it's going to need repairs. The wood's going to rot. You're going to need to do some restoration work. So you start repairing and replacing wooden planks. You replace the steering wheel. The steering wheel? You replace
the steering wheel.
The rudder,
just an
the
ancient
brakes.
Greek ship with a steering wheel.
So eventually, like, you know, after like a century or so, all of the parts have been replaced. Is this still Theseus's ship? Like, the whole idea behind it is once you change enough of an idea with your own ideas, when does it become yours? When is it now an original idea? It's kind of a squishy, like, philosophical thing. Like, no one can really point to the part where it stopped being the old thing and started being the new thing. But the idea is, you see an idea you like, you take parts of it and change it with your own good ideas. Now it's your ship instead of Theseus' ship.
So what you're saying is, the ship of Theseus is change it if you want to.
Change it if you want to. The ship of change it if you want to. With the steering wheel.
With a steering wheel.
And a sick sound system.
Those speakers on up in this motherfucker.
Anyway, Sailing 0.
That's what I got in real life. Anyway. So yeah, I'm also on team just fuck with it until it's... Just fuck with something until it's yours.
Yeah, man. Start changing the planks.
Yeah. I know that really sounds reductive. But I find that if I tinker with something enough, it stops being a copy of that thing and becomes my own thing that has its roots in this other thing I like.
Right, exactly. You can start saying you were inspired by Vampire the Masquerade. Like, I really like the idea of, you know, undead that come from, like, specific bloodlines and clan lines, but I hated all of that stupid political crap. So now you've got vampires that form these tight-knit clans and cliques, but instead of it being a completely social game, you decide you want it to be a fucking war game. And now they're all doing battle with each other. And you could say, I was inspired by Vampire the Masquerade, but clearly it's different now.
Mm-hmm. You can make all the powers different and stuff, too.
Yeah, yeah.
I've certainly done this, actually, mechanically, which is less of the gray area, where, like, that game concept I was pitching to you over text the other night was originally a clone of the Through the Breach system.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
The Weird West idea that you had?
Yes.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, I actually really like how a whole lot of these core mechanics work. There's a bunch of stuff about the Through the Breach system that I don't like. But I was like, the core damage resolution and task resolution mechanics are really excellent. What if I just straight up ripped it off? And then I fucked with it, and now it's totally different.
And now it's yours.
Yes. In fact, it looks nothing like the original Through the Breach system, except for the fact that it also uses cards.
And there's other systems that use cards, so that's fine.
Right. A card deck is a randomization mechanic, and, like, it's like saying, this game uses dice.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Nothing special about that.
Nope, nothing special about that.
So you take the elements of the thing that you like.
Right. And the elements that sort of lasted between the two of them was the idea that suit on a card is important to establishing difficulty.
Okay.
And that the spread of... Like, I took the spread of numbers, the card value numbers, from Through the Breach directly. So 1 to 10, and then the face cards are 11, 12, 13.
Okay.
And I took that and then basically broke them down into weak, what Through the Breach calls weak, moderate, severe. So 1 to 5 is weak, 6 to 10 is moderate, 11 to 13 is severe.
Okay.
And so then using that idea for establishing difficulty and flipping cards and the idea of cheating cards to replace the result. And I kept those things, but they are totally revisited because Through the Breach also uses proprietary suits, and you have to have a special... or could do a conversion on a card deck, a special fate deck, or use a conversion for the suits. I'm sticking with the default playing card suits because I want this to be a thing where someone can just go to the dollar store and buy a 3-pack of playing cards and be good to go.
Yeah.
But that's just a mechanical thing. As far as flavor things, you can just take elements from the thing you like.
Right.
Like, maybe you love magical girl transformations, or Sailor Moon's Not at Mythology, or the specific... like, look of a super robot show, or the superhero society from My Hero Academia, or maybe you don't watch anime. Just pick a thing and use its aesthetics. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, just start with the seed of something that really made you like the thing, and then build up from there. I have so many examples of this in my own work, just through fiction writing, where I've decided, like, I really like this thing from this, like, I have an old, like, super old novel that's been on the back burner for a while that basically started as World of Warcraft fanfiction. But I didn't want to write about any of the races on the Alliance. I only wanted to write about blood elves, orcs, and like the undead race, the Forsaken, because they're like zombies with free will, which I think is cool. But I didn't want to write about the Alliance, so I was like, all right, I'm just going to cut those out. That's definitely not World of Warcraft anymore. I just cut half of the whole game out.
Yeah, sometimes a fanfic goes wildly original on you.
Yeah, they call that the AU, and I'm like, just write something new. You don't need to... This is my AU where Hanzu is a merman, and he's the prince of the... Just write something new. It's not fanfic anymore.
I mean, like, I love fanfic as a warm-up.
Yes. Exactly. Yes.
I think if you are a pro or you want to become a pro, writing fanfic keeps you sharp.
Yes, it absolutely does. Fanfic is important for a lot of different reasons, and
yeah,
I would talk about it like until my face turned blue. But this is not a fanfic podcast.
No, maybe we could do a fanfic episode for patrons.
That would be fun.
For our off-topic stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, let us know if you would like to hear us talk about some other stuff besides just game design and whatnot, because we got a lot of things we could talk about. And if you would give us money to hear that sort of thing.
And tell us if you would give us money, and just how much and when. How soon can you give us money?
Ray turned this into extortion. I just wanted to know if people would pay for additional content. Jeez.
We're thinking about, we're going to have a Patreon next year, probably around our podcast birthday.
Yeah, I'm thinking we're going to launch this around our podcast birthday.
Yeah. And we're coming up with ideas for things that we want to do. Probably talk about that a little bit like later down the line. But yeah, one of the things we want to do is like have the opportunity to talk to you more about other things, because we like to talk and we have a lot of opinions.
We do have a lot of opinions.
Also, I want to do an actual play.
I know you do.
I really do.
I know you do. We would really like to do an actual play, and we would really like to not compete with the saturated actual play
I don't
market.
want to be like the best actual play ever. I just want to make my own actual play.
Neither of us are professional voice actors, so we're not going to be the best actual play ever.
Yeah, whatever.
There's that market is thoroughly cornered.
Yeah.
I do think it'd be pretty cool if we did an actual play where like we teach people how to play the game.
Yeah, like an instructional we have the actual play, and then we have like the post-mortem of like, here's why I did this, here's why I changed that, here's where this happened. Kind of
If you would like to hear us break down the hows and whys of why our actual play. I'm not from the Midwest. Where did that come from?
Actual play.
If you'd like to hear that, let us know. And if that's a thing you'd give us money for.
Yeah.
Tell us what you want to hear from us. If you would be willing to give us Patreon money. I know there's people out there who would be willing to give us Patreon money. You guys tip us really generously. We know there's people who would give us money. It's true.
Yeah, I know. It's just...
You just feel awkward asking people for money?
I do.
We don't even see them.
I know. But it's like, hey, all right, well, I'm done ranting for about 40 minutes. Anyone want to give me some cash? Like, just very strange to me. But I get it. I'm not gonna, like, of course, like, every kafu we get is awesome. And, you know, it makes me excited and maybe a little weepy, but it's fine.
All right. Hey, if you want more content from us, you should look at our website. That is bxpcast.com.
Yeah, and you should email us maybe the answers to the questions we pose to you, or just whatever the hell you feel like. We're at bonusexpcast@gmail.com.
And if you want to follow us on Twitter, we are bonusexpcast there as well.
I'm on Twitter just by myself. If you want to talk to me by my lonesome, that's Ray_Cole.
And if you want to talk to me, I'm at Xena Sun.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, we're done. So everybody get out. I gotta go taste this rye bread I just made. Whoa! That's staying in.
Okay.
Note to Margaret. Keep that righteous fucking belch. At the 37-minute mark.
Okay.
Change it if you want to.
Change it if you want to.
Thanks for listening. Bonus Experience is written and produced by Monica and Ray. Our cover art and logo are by Nino Studios. Our theme song is Reuse Noise with Delight by CDK and is used under the Attribution Non-Commercial Creative Commons license. This podcast confers the benefits of a long rest. We'll see you next time.